Good evening. It's a pleasure welcoming you again to this platform, Christians in Politics. My name is Donald Weze, and I would like to say thank you for allowing us into your living room. On this platform tonight, we are going to be discussing issues that pertain to politics in the everyday sense of the word and much more. And it is my pleasure welcoming to the studios someone that is not a stranger to you. I'm talking of Mr. Alex Ladan. He has been in the political terrain. He has gone as far as aspiring for the governorship of Plateau State. And today we are going to be really discussing. So I would like to say, Mr. Alex, welcome to Christians in Politics.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. Now we are going to just get cracking into the issue. Politics has to do with a lot of things, but it must include people. And so many people do their politics. Some are in the background, some are in the front burner. I want to ask you this question, and it has to do with, one, your personal conviction as a Christian. Is politics something that is God ordained or divine? Let's use that word.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad we're having this conversation. I'm grateful for this platform that AQUA has provided. And I'm glad that the discussions that ensue here are discussions that are secular. Permit me to use that word.
Okay.
Largely because of our background. Ordinarily, you wouldn't have a church platform discussing politics. But I'm glad that AQUA has taken a very giant stride in ensuring that discussions that border on humanity in general, looking at it from both the spiritual and the secular perspective. Yeah. Having said that, is politics for the Christian? I guess if I am to paraphrase your question, I'd like to make a reference to leadership from the perspective of the Bible.
Okay.
Leadership of nations. Once upon a time, the children of Israel thought to themselves that they would want a king like other nations.
Yeah.
As if God didn't have a plan for them to be ruled according to his own plans. And because it was a request made by the people, God gave them the chance. Now I'd like to say something here that God, after Eli had to raise a priest in his own order, in the person of Samuel. Samuel, at a very tender age, was mentored by Eli and was raised, in the temple. And he ended up being a figure that typified godly kind of priesthood.
Okay.
And that was, if you look carefully, God's preparation for his kind of king to emerge. But the Israelites looked and thought to themselves, we have seen other nations, and we want to have a king in their own, order.
Yeah.
But then God would always give you the prerogative of choice. He permitted them to have a king. And of course, their choice was informed by 5 senses.
Okay. We shall talk about the 5 senses.
Yes.
But let me just throw this one in. Divine order in the direction of, then it means that God is involved. God is interested in politics.
Absolutely.
So we can now say that politics as it is supposed to be tailored in the line of what God actually wants man to do when it comes to rulership, so to speak. Because if the children of Israel back then at that time asked for a king, and it was someone in the person of Samuel who was mentored by Eli,
That's right,
that was now sent to go and do the selection, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So God selected Saul as a king for Israel. God sent the same Samuel to King David's, I think Bethlehem, to go and to Jesse's house.
Absolutely.
And then said, God, I'm really very interested in what you said.
So basically, you have sort of gone ahead of me. The whole idea is to lay a fact on the ground that God is interested in who rules the nation.
Okay.
He's absolutely interested. And that is why, in a bid to show forth his own criteria,
Yes.
his own choice of who is a king, he doesn't, see it from our own point of view. In the case of Saul, Saul was literally the kind of king that appealed to the people just by sight. The moment they saw him, they said, surely this is the Lord's anointed. Because his looks, he came in the form that would appeal to the people. But when it was time for God to bring his own kind of king, in this case David, Samuel, with his experience, with his walk with God, with his submission to God, as the priest over Israel, went to Jesse's house, but deployed the human perspective, of who a king should look like. And of course, person after person, he kept saying, this is surely the Lord's anointed, because they all looked like. But in the end, even the father of David thought to himself that this one is certainly not the kind of person they're looking for. And so he was not even counted until the Lord exhausted all their options, as if to say to the human race that you have a point of view. What you see is what your eye permits you to see.
But what I see is different.
But what I see is I see beyond what your physical eyes permits you to see. And of course, David came. David, in his own right, had qualities that didn't just appeal to the human being, but appeal to God. He was a man who had demonstrated the capacity to trust God all the way. Now, I'm bringing this whole story to establish something that Israel as a nation, God himself was interested in who leads Israel. And that story simply means that it is not only limited to Israel. Every nation in the world, God is interested in who becomes the king.
Yes.
Ultimately. And when you talk about politics, politics simply seeks to arrive at one conclusion, that a leader emerges. So when you talk about the process of electioneering, that is when all sorts of interactions, engagements, backbiting as the case may be, all geared towards arriving at one thing, that we have a leader. And afterwards, we have, in our own context, not been able to draw a line between politics and governance.
Okay. Politics and governance. I want us to bring it a little bit down now. God is interested in who rules a nation. Whether the person is a Christian or a non-Christian. That calls to mind the issue of governance, because God is interested in people regardless of whether they accept him as God or not. He is interested in their welfare. So he would want people to get into political offices. Since we're doing politics, people go into offices such that they will do his bidding. Not because I am a Muslim, not because I am a Christian, not because I'm an atheist, but because I am a leader who is supposed to go and take charge and rule in such a way that everybody finds relevance in the scheme of things. Should Christians then be in politics?
My answer is just absolute yes.
Now, so what are those things you think Christians should have when they go into politics?
Now, let me go back a bit. You just talked about God being interested in people, irrespective of their religious backgrounds or belief system. I absolutely believe that, yes, he's interested in people. After all, the Bible says that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. The Bible didn't say for God so loved Christians. So it just underscores the point that you just raised, that God is interested in people. But when it comes to leadership, I personally believe that God is interested in a man that is willing to hear his voice, to take instructions from him, and lead his people.
Okay.
So if you look at just people generally, not everyone understands what it means to hear God. Not even everyone believes that there is a God. So whoever believes first, it's a major criteria that God exists and that God rules in the affairs of men. So those are the kind of people that God looks out for, that God desires to have. I prefer to use, the word desire to have, because it's his desire that we arrive at understanding his voice, we arrive at understanding his ways and taking instructions from him. Because in the end, when you sit on the seat of authority, every God gets interested in you, including Jehovah God that gave you the chance to be there. So it becomes a battle. It becomes a battle of forces. Because in the end, the one who gains influence over you, as an individual, as the leader, has naturally gained influence over the people. Because you take decisions that are far-reaching, that are consequential, decisions that will have ripple effect. So in the end, getting your attention becomes the priority of every force. And there's a reason why God looks out for people that are able to hear him. You read through, kings, all kinds of leaders that arose in Israel. There were those who would rule according to, his principles.
Yes.
And in the end, the scripture would record that, and they did right in the eyes
of the Lord.
And then you have, on the other hand, those who did evil in the eyes of the Lord. So it tells you that to do right in the eyes of the Lord naturally means you would have done well or right in the eyes of the people. But then, so it's been a battle from that time till date.
Okay, now battles, yes, politics is, they say, is war. Excuse my expression, because everybody comes out and is looking for something.
Yeah.
Now, I want to take us back a little bit. So we started off with a story in the scriptures. And now I remember Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, who came to Moses and saw what was happening in the camp from morning till night. Moses was adjudicating, sitting down. And he said, "You are going to kill yourself, young man. Go and delegate authority so that you will be able to have quality time to do some other things." And I always say that was the beginning of politics, because Moses now told the children of Israel, "Go and select for yourselves." That's where I'm coming from. Go and select for yourselves. We are in a nation today where everything goes. This question is, why do many Christians avoid politics in Nigeria?
I began by appreciating, ECWA for providing a platform where discussions like this, go on. And that is to simply say we're coming from somewhere. Many years back, not many years, so to say. With every sense of responsibility, you would not be found within the church circle having this kind of discussion.
No, it's not possible.
Now, from my own personal perspective, it appears to me as if the gospel that was passed down to us was one that sort of defined boundaries and emphasized, certain areas. Certain things are seen as too secular for a believer. And we have grown with that mentality, such that we're playing catch-up as it stands right now. So, because we took hook, line, and sinker, what was passed down, without asking some pertinent questions.
Yeah.
The beauty of Christianity is that you have a relationship. It is relational. So you have a relationship with your God, and you are able to relate with him, like we have seen, even David.
Yes.
The Bible calls him the man after God's own heart.
Yes.
You cannot be after somebody's heart if you don't have a relationship. Now, having taken so many years, lingering in the understanding or in the conclusion that politics is dirty. I'm sure you have heard that before.
Yes, so many times.
And then we keep abdicating responsibility and permitting people who do not hold our kind of principles to fill those spaces. Because truth is that there is no vacuum in life. Nature, like they say, abhors vacuum. So if you do not avail yourself, someone else definitely would.
Would too.
And it has been the bane of the Christian community that politics is perceived to be a dirty game. Definitely it's not a very clean place. I must say this. And I'm saying this because you are in the mix of people who hold different ideologies.
All right, let's add up. While you're talking of the ideologies now, let's add up. What are those very salient areas in politics that has made it so difficult for believers, Christians, to peddle their trade therein? Since you're talking about, it's a mindset thing, it has to do with understanding, finance has to come to play, logistics and stuff like that. So, as someone who has been in the trenches, let me use that word now. Go ahead and
speaking from my own personal perspective, and I believe that it goes for many people who are like me, who are involved. Our absence from the scene or from participation has created a culture that is pretty difficult to correct overnight. So those who have been there, who have dominated this space, have introduced a culture that bother on eroding certain values simply because you're targeting something. People do not value you or judge you on the strength of the content that you have to offer, but they judge you on the strength of the money you have in your pocket, and nobody wants to care where you got the money from. These are challenges. So when you come, if you have the money, you will have to battle with certain cultures that have been set, in place. And then it becomes something that is a bit strange, considering your background, considering your principles, and where you're coming from. Yeah. Now, you have that to deal with, because you are expected to be in this space and become the influence, rather than permit the system to influence you. Because you're coming with something that is supposed to purge the system. People call it a dirty game.
Which is the players
you are
that
coming
make it
as a
dirty.
light, and then you're expected to infuse light into the system. Yes. So that as time goes on, nobody will look at it and call it a dirty game. So people, because of these things they have imbibed over time, when you come with your message, you are seen as a strange person. I'm sure you have heard people in the political space say, this is not church. This is politics. Yes. Some would tell you that the reward for participation in politics is gotten right here on earth.
You cannot
So
go to heaven.
exactly.
That's
So these are very strange doctrines, that entrench these values in people, and then to begin to start to challenge that
yeah.
is not something that you can do overnight. So it takes time, and I must say that the right attitude is to consider that this is a challenge, and that you are able to surmount the challenge, and not to run away from it and to abdicate
Okay.
responsibility.
Yeah, you brought up something that I want us to look at. Relate Matthew chapter 5, I think, at verse 13, or is it 16, where it says that let your light so shine before men, when they see the good works that you do, they glorify your Father which is in heaven. By implication, relate it with what is happening on the political terrain, because we are in a nation today where everything that is wrong is being accepted like this is the right thing. There is insecurity all over the place. Here on the plateau, people are being maimed almost every day. You will hear that some people were killed, either macheted or shot or something, every day. And it's all happening within a political space. And we have leaders who would, excuse me, tongue-in-cheek say, the dividends of democracy. Is the dividend of democracy what we are seeing happening now with the insecurity going on? So if it is truly a dividend of democracy, is it good? Or is it such that we are playing the ostrich? Leaders who are in political office know that what is going on is wrong, and yet people have decided to keep quiet, they don't want to talk. Because, as you said, when you come with something new, they look at you as the strange person. But, of course, it is the right thing you are saying. So, how do we go around these things?
So you talked about two things in one.
Yes.
One is letting your light shine. That's an expectation, especially in a space such as the political space. And secondly, you talked about insecurity.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go back a bit to what I said earlier about a culture. You are coming with a culture, and the beauty of light is that it doesn't have to be so huge
To illuminate.
before it is noticed. But then you have a choice to either shine it forth or permit it to completely go off. Now, where the battle I have come to realize is that people come from the church, for example, with the aim of being light in the system. But then they step in and they forget about where they're coming from. And in that kind of situation, you do not have any light shining around. So you discover that people conform to the system they met on ground. And I'm saying this to underscore the gravity of the culture that is on ground. A culture that is anti-light, culture that is anti the values that you and I, hold so dearly, that the scripture, tells us, is a culture that gives you a form of godliness, but denies the power.
Yeah.
Because politicians can come into church and speak the language of the church just to get the attention of the people, because we have become so gullible that all we need is someone to maybe say the things that we know, quote scriptures. And of course, as we know, even the devil quotes scriptures.
So a lot of us have itchy ears.
Exactly, exactly. So you have that as a major issue going on. I'm sure you have been disappointed with some Christians, who were, before getting into office, seemed to be people who were really, doing well. But then, within a twinkle of an eye, you are not able to recognize them. Now, as far as I am concerned, This thing border on, first of all, understanding why you got into politics. If you were not called into it, if it was just an aspiration, just a desire to get out of poverty, or to gain fame, or to be, gain status, chances are very high that you will be consumed. But if it is God that called you into this space, you will be mindful of the fact that you are on a journey towards eternity, not journey towards government house, not journey towards House of Reps or whatever it is, or Senate. But you are on a journey towards eternity. And in this journey, you must always know that it's a personal race. So the opportunities and the platforms that God is giving you, you are mindful of the fact that you will account, for every single platform and opportunity that you have had. And in that case, you're able to stand on the truth, whether it profits you at the moment
or not,
or it consumes you. I have, had to go through processes like that, where taking a stand against what I believe is not in the interest of God and the people. And I can tell you that to dare to do that, be prepared to stand alone. Be prepared to be vilified. But then, because for me, it is a call. For me, it is a journey towards eternity. For me, it's about standing in the center of the will of God. And therefore, to shine the light, you must first of all come from that place, and not just from looking for a way out for yourself. Because there are lots of people.
Yes.
They are Christians, yes, but God didn't call them into politics. And so, naturally, when they get into this space, they are dissolved into the system. And nobody gets to hear of their impact and all that. Now, let me connect this with the other aspect of your question, which borders on security. If you are called into this space, you will understand your responsibility. And you will understand the demands of heavens, concerning you, about the people. I have always, said this to people, that God chose you to lead a people does not mean you are the favorite. It is a burden of trust, because God loves all the people.
Yeah.
And He's singling you out in trust and in hope
That this is what
you will dispense justice to these people. You will give them what is due them, because they are His people that He loves so much. And so He has to pick someone to oversee to their well-being, to their welfare, to everything that concerns them. So it's a privilege that God is giving you on behalf of these people. And my personal belief is that because you are a leader, the questions you will answer in judgment are more. Simply because to whom him whom much is given, much is expected.
Much is expected, yes.
So every little space that you have, and it boils down to responsibilities that we carry on a daily basis. Now you're here on this platform, anchoring this program. Any guest that comes in here and you don't ask him the right questions,
yes,
it becomes a judgment. So it is in that spirit that I am looking at the responsibility that comes with leadership, especially at that level. And therefore, understanding that this is my duty means that you will stand with the people to protect them. There is a lot of conspiracy going around this security.
Thank you very much for bringing up the conspiracy theory, because a lot of Nigerians don't have the platform that we have to sit down and discuss issues that pertain to everyday happenings in the community. And it has boiled down to such a very dismal level that now everywhere you turn, people are talking about government is, in quote, overwhelmed, she cannot protect us now. We have to do something for ourselves. In other climes, that is not the case. Here, this is the situation that we are facing every day. And again, because it is Christians in politics, and there are Christians in politics, where is the dividing line when you have not only Christians that are in politics, but all kinds of, jollof rice political office holders? Some are Christians, some are not Christians. But governance has a basis upon which it is supposed to run. That is, there must be equity, there must be justice, there must be truth, and there must be fairness. Is that what the Nigerian political terrain is having these days?
I mean, I'm sure you know the answer.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, sure. I will definitely, throw more light on it. I'm
Yes.
saying you know the answer because if it were not an emphatic yes, it would have reflected in the society.
Yeah.
And so that is to simply say that's not the kind of system that we run. Our system is not standing on justice. It's not standing on equity. I mean, those things are visibly absent in our society, and therefore it reflects in the output that we have in the system. Now, I'd like to emphasize something here that I consider that justice is an integral part of nation building and progress. And I'm saying that because God himself is an institution of law and order.
Yeah.
So, if you look at a society that understands the value of law and order, that society naturally is more advanced. So, and interestingly, this is not even a function of whether it's a Christian society or not.
No.
The moment you are able to understand that we have set these laws for ourselves and we're going to obey them, anyone who fails to do that, these are the punishments. And people put all their energy into ensuring that, they cooperate with the laws and the justice system is permitted, to function optimally without any interference, as we have it in our own case today. You would find that there is a lot of progress naturally. It just happens naturally. And we see this because that is a system that God himself, the Bible says that the foundation of his throne is based on righteousness and justice.
Justice.
So how do you want to survive without those critical elements? It's not possible. So we have to just wake up to the realization that we need to have a system that is just, a system that understands the importance of law and order.
Okay, now a system that is just understands law and order. Let me throw this. Now we have people operating. People are occupying all kinds of positions. And these are the basic necessities where you can see development come up. I give you a simple example. Somebody pays salaries and he tells you that it is a political achievement. Somebody provides water, basic necessity of life, that is a basis upon which governance is standing. He says that it is a political achievement. Now, all of these things are happening. Do we say that the reason why some of these things have not come up and we have not started enjoying them is because our institutions are weak, or that we have very strong institutions but that those who are running such institutions are mediocre?
This is a very sad reality that we have found ourselves in. And unfortunately, it appears as if the standard keeps dropping on a daily basis. Certainly, we do not have strong institutions, because if you have strong institutions, there is no weak person that will be able or will be permitted
To even operate in
to even
such.
operate a strong institution, because it would have consumed anyone who does not meet up with the standards. So that has been a major problem for us in this country. Hence, you have very disgusting claims that it is someone who has paid salaries has performed as a governor, and so on and so forth. Sadly, we operate a society where it appears as if the best times are in the past
And not in the future.
and not in the future. Now, but you go to some other climes, you discover that they're improving daily. And the rate at which they are going, you can tell that their best times are ahead of them. But for us, if they talk about the Nigeria of 1960, and you talk about the economy, you talk about the standard of living, talk about the infrastructure, you would prefer to be in the Nigeria of 1960 than the Nigeria of 2026. Because things are getting really, the security, as it were, and so on and so forth. So it simply tells that something is fundamentally wrong. Our concept of development today is not even a sustainable one. And sustainable development is attempting to meet your needs of today without interfering with the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. So today you have a government in place, and all they want to do is do what they can do for now. Nobody thinks of the children that are coming after. Nobody thinks of their great-grandchildren. I give you an example. Norway discovered oil around the same time with Nigeria.
With Nigeria, yes.
Norway is a fishing, nation. As at the time they discovered, they didn't abandon fishing, but they sat together. Yes, they sat together and to a roundtable discussion and said, look, at the time it was considered or called Dutch disease. Nations who had discovered oil were blowing resources and what have you. But Norway said, we will manage these resources. This wealth that we have will transcend our own generation, and therefore life will continue as if nothing was discovered. That is a sense of ethical obligation, understanding that a nation should be responsible for the citizens of today and the citizens of the future. And therefore, sovereign wealth funds that Norway today, runs is the largest in the world. Every Norwegian citizen is worth at least $300,000 to $400,000 and growing, because they have invested these proceeds from the oil in different businesses. So the whole world is running businesses for Norway, and Norway is making profit. And that is what sustainable development is. The economy is strong. They're able to take care of infrastructure and whatever it is that, and of course they have excess. So the oil deposit in Nigeria is much more than what Norway has.
Yes, I was going to bring up the issue of, I don't want us to even talk the oil, because the oil has been there for so many years. I came up and Nigeria already was prospecting for oil, and new fields have been discovered in my small lifespan. And apart from that, we hear of other numerous mineral deposits scattered all around the nation. The question is, we have this kind of wealth under the ground. From number 1 to 23,000, if you spread it across, that's the number of people that are in either elective position, from local government to president. They are all about 23,000 in number. We have a nation of 250-something million people. And these minerals are just being discovered. Like in the recent past, we are hearing lithium or something is discovered. There's gold in southern Kaduna or Kaduna State here, in Zamfara, Kogi, all over the place. Is it a lack of political will that our leaders, I am saying our leaders because everything that pertains to decisions that are being taken concerning these minerals is vested in the offices of some of these people, whether as executive or legislatures or what have you. I don't want to talk about the private sector because private sector is driven by reason of policy decisions that are taken at government level to give them a level playing field so that they can do whatever it is they want to do. So is it a lack of political will or just plain moral bankruptcy?
It's a combination of both.
Talk to me.
And I can tell you this, that you want us to avoid talking about the natural mineral resources, deposits, you know, that we have. But we have to touch it because we need to understand what we're really sitting on.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
You know, I say it is a bit of both because, one, if you have the will, you will go out of your way to ensure that certain policies are implemented. I personally believe that, for example, as Plateau State, my belief is that if this is where God has placed you, this studio right here, then everything you need to survive, to thrive, is found in this place. Look at the rocks in Plateau. Just rocks all over the place. It will interest you to know that we sit on arguably the best young granite belt in the world.
We stop there. I hate to stop you there because if I allow you to go on, we are going to overrun. However, you have 1 minute. I'll give you 1 minute to round off what you are talking about. The best.
Yes. So best young granite. Nigeria imports $5 to $8 million worth of granite.
And yet we
from
have it on the
India
plateau.
and China. How much will it cost us to set up a processing plant for granite? I did a personal research, and I figured with 7 to 8 billion naira, we're able to set up a medium processing plant that will directly employ 200 to 250 people. And the indirect employment is a ripple effect. In the long run, between 7 to 8,000 households will benefit from that single medium granite processing plant.
Okay, Mr. Alex, I hate to to stop this conversation. It is getting very interesting, but I appreciate your coming out of your very, very tight schedule to visit with us and share your thoughts with us. I would have asked you about leadership, but this one is for the next time when we meet. Viewer, for the past 45 minutes or so, we have been discussing with Alex Ladan. Is not just anyhow a person, let me use that word now very loosely, but a former aspirant and a candidate for the position of a governor of Plateau State. Once again, we want to say thank you so much for making it here. Until next time when we do it again, my name is Donald Weze, and I'll leave you this one. The right thing you know you ought to do and you do not do is considered a sin. Do that which is right. Bye-bye for now.